Philippines and India ink a historic defense pact. Headlines buzzed. Will weapons factories rise in Manila? Social media lit up with excitement and questions. Could the Philippines leap from buyer to builder? This was more than a headline. It was a challenge to the nation's future. India's offer was simple but huge in ambition. Instead of just selling weapons, India proposed helping the Philippines build its own defense industry, sharing designs, training workers, and setting up factories. For the first time, a major partner was ready to offer more than hardware, sharing the know-how behind modern military equipment. It promised jobs, new skills, and less reliance on others, but would require trust, time, and strong leadership. For decades, the Philippine military has relied on imported weapons. Ships from South Korea, helicopters from the United States, and rifles from Israel fill its arsenals. These deals often bring quick results. New equipment arrives fast, and the country can show off modern gear at military parades. But this reliance has a downside. Maintenance is costly because spare parts must be shipped from far away. Training is limited. Soldiers know how to use the weapons, but not how to fix or upgrade them. And when suppliers change their minds for political reasons, deliveries are delayed or canceled. If the Philippines started building weapons locally, things could change. Homegrown factories would create jobs for engineers, mechanics, and suppliers. Local production would mean faster repairs and upgrades. It would also let the country adapt weapons to its unique geography and needs. Yet, the move from buyer to builder is not easy. It requires investment in education, strong partnerships, and patience. The payoff, though, could be historic. A military force built by Filipinos, for Filipinos. Dependence on foreign arms suppliers comes with hidden costs. First, it puts the Philippines at the mercy of other countries' politics. If a supplier's government changes its mind or faces its own crisis, deliveries might be delayed or stopped. This happened before, when allies paused arms sales during tense moments. Second, relying on imported weapons limits how much the Philippines can learn. It's kind of like buying a car without ever learning how the engine works. Local soldiers and engineers never get the chance to understand, fix, or improve their own equipment. This leads to higher costs and longer downtimes when things break. Third, dependence means lost opportunities for local businesses. Every foreign contract is money that could have gone to Filipino workers and factories. It also leaves the country vulnerable during emergencies, when shipping lanes might be blocked. Finally, foreign suppliers can put strings on their deals, restricting how weapons are used or shared. True national security needs more than hardware. It needs freedom and flexibility. Breaking free from dependence is about more than pride. It's about control. Real independence for the Philippine military means, owning the full cycle. Design, build, maintain, and improve. It starts with local factories where Filipino engineers and workers craft equipment. And then, it grows with research centers developing new technologies suited for the country's needs, like coastline defense and disaster relief. Self-reliance also means building a network of local suppliers. Steel, electronics, and even software can come from Filipino companies. This keeps money in the country and, honestly, sparks innovation. Over time, Philippine-made weapons could even be exported to friendly nations, creating new industries. With independence, the country gains resilience. If a crisis hits, the military won't have to wait for foreign shipments. Repairs, upgrades, and new designs can happen locally, quickly, and safely. The nation's best minds can tackle local problems, from typhoon response to maritime security. But self-reliance is not just about technology. It is a mindset. It means trusting in local talent, investing in education, and believing that Filipinos can lead in high-tech fields. It's a long journey, but every step brings more security and pride. South Korea's story is, a lesson in partial technology transfer. Decades ago, it started by assembling American tanks and planes using imported parts. Over time, Korean companies learned more and began to produce their own designs. But honestly, the process took years, and real independence only came when South Korea pushed hard for full technology sharing. Indonesia, on the other hand, took a different route. It insisted on deep technology transfer whenever it bought weapons. For example, when it ordered submarines from South Korea, Indonesia made sure part of the work happened in its own shipyards. Indonesian engineers traveled abroad to learn, then returned home to build and improve the designs. This way, Indonesia built not just weapons, but also skills and confidence. Both countries show the power and the challenge of moving from assembly to independence. South Korea's fighter jets and Indonesia's ships are now exported to other nations. But these successes came from tough negotiations, government support, and a focus on learning. The Philippines can learn from both. It must ask for more than parts to assemble. It must demand the knowledge, the tools, and the training needed to truly build for itself. What's the difference between simple assembly and real technology transfer? Assembly means putting together parts made elsewhere, like building a toy from a kit. The skill needed is pretty limited, and the secrets stay with the supplier. If one part is missing, the whole process stops. True technology transfer is deeper. It means sharing blueprints, training local engineers, and setting up labs so that Filipinos can redesign or improve the product. It also includes know why, the reasons behind every technical choice. Only then can the Philippines fix, adapt, or invent new systems without asking for foreign help. This is what India is offering. Not just kits and manuals, but mentorship and partnership. It is a slower, more demanding process. Mistakes will happen. But in the end, the country grows stronger and smarter. The test will be in the details. The Philippines must make sure deals are not just for knockdown kits, but for full access to knowledge and tools. Only then does the promise of independence become real. If the Philippines becomes a builder, the effects will be felt across Asia. First, its military will grow stronger and more flexible. Neighbors and rivals, especially those contesting the West Philippine Sea, will take notice. A self-reliant Philippines can respond faster to threats and disasters. Second, a local defense industry boosts the economy. New factories mean jobs for welders, programmers, and machinists. Universities will train more engineers and scientists. As skills improve, the country could export some products, just as South Korea now sells ships and fighter jets worldwide. India also stands to gain. By helping the Philippines, India strengthens its own security network in the Indo-Pacific. It wins a reliable partner, extending its influence and balancing the region's power. For India, sharing technology is a way to counter other big players like China. But the biggest prize is stability. A region where countries build and share their own security is safer for everyone. The Philippines, once seen as just a buyer, could become a hub for innovation and cooperation. The Philippines now stands at a crossroads. One path leads to continued dependence, importing foreign weapons whenever money allows, always waiting for the next shipment, always limited by others' rules. The other path is harder but more rewarding, building its own defense industry, learning from partners like India, and believing in Filipino talent. This choice is about more than weapons. It is about who controls the nation's security and future. It is about whether Filipino engineers and workers will lead or whether they will always follow. The stakes are high: sovereignty, pride, and safety for generations. The world is watching. If the Philippines chooses partnership and real technology transfer, it will send a signal. The country is ready to shape its own destiny. But this will require courage, investment, and a willingness to learn from both mistakes and successes. The time to choose is now. Buyer or builder? What future will the Philippines claim?